Um, we talked about baptism a little bit last week and um, had a very long discussion on that, thank God. One of the things that I feel personally responsible for talking about very briefly, it's a topic that's very large, so we don't necessarily have the time to talk about all of it tonight. But I personally feel responsible because of how much research I've done and the studies that I've done in this particular issue, that I feel responsible before God to share the truth of the church's teaching on baptism and the reception of converts, because we kind of touched upon it last week, but I didn't really offer the church's position very clearly last time. And the saints do tell us that if we don't, if we hold back from sharing the truth, that we'll be held accountable before God. So I feel like it's my duty, especially to say this. And before I even say anything, I just want to say this, that I'm not saying this to shame anyone or to guilt trip anyone or to embarrass anyone or anything like that. I'm really coming from a place of love, care, concern for people. And so I just wanted to preface that. But we talked a little bit about baptism. We talked about that the church receives converts by baptism and that this is the standard norm. And we also talked about different methods of reception. And one of the things that unfortunately is misunderstood a lot today is the theology of why we do that. And so, in order to kind of clarify the subject briefly, I'll just say that the church does not recognize the sacraments of non-Orthodox Christians, like amongst the Catholics and the Protestants. We don't recognize sacraments outside the church. We believe that the sacraments are found within the church. And this is the unanimous teaching throughout the centuries of the church's history, including the ecumenical councils, the canons, the church's hymnography, the scriptures, etc. Again and again, this is the church's belief. And that's why when we receive converts, we should be receiving them by baptism. Um, Unfortunately, that's misunderstood today. Unfortunately, there's a lot of misapplications of the church's teachings. But um, as we kind of say in the creed at the end there, in one Holy Catholic Apostolic Church, I confess one baptism for remission of sins. And so the two go hand in hand, the church and her sacraments. Having said that, though, those who were erroneously received by any other method other than baptism, the good news is that such people can still be baptized. And so I'll just kind of lay that out there for just to state for the record. And if you're interested more in learning more about that, and if you yourself or someone that's close to you has been received into the church in a different method other than baptism, without the proper presuppositions and so forth, and you know that if they or yourself would like to be baptized, then we can certainly make that possible and we can find someone to do that. Anyways, besides that, this is a wonderful book that we put together, Uncut Non-Press, that shows that entire spectrum of the church's position on the subject. And so, highly recommend it. If you want to read more on that, you can check that out for yourself. And so,